This is the monster of the rewire. Roki Sasaki has arrived. Watch out.
今回ご紹介するのは MLB のピッチング分析で世界的に知られるピッチング忍者ことロブ・フリードマン氏の佐々木朗希投手に関する解説です。ピッチング忍者は投球フォームや球種の軌道をコマ送りやオーバーレイ映像で分析することで知られる投球分析の第一人者です。そんな彼が番組内で佐々木投手の変化について繰り返し取り上げてきました。佐々木投手といえば NPB 時代には20歳で完全試合を達成し、令和の怪物と呼ばれた存在。ドジャース入りする前からその将来性は誰もが認めるものでした。しかしメジャー1年目となった2025年の船出は決して平坦なものではなく、制球に苦しむ場面も多く見られました。本当にこれがあの佐々木朗希なのかと首をかしげたファンも少なくなかったはずです。実はこれは佐々木投手に限った話ではありません。NPB から MLB へ移った投手の多くがボールの違いやマウンドの硬さ、投球間隔のルールなど細かな環境の差に苦しみます。個人的には佐々木投手のように10代、20代前半で圧倒的な実績を残した投手ほど逆にこのギャップに戸惑いやすいのではないかと思っています。完成された投手として渡米しているからこそ一度崩れると立て直しに時間がかかる。そう考えると2025年の苦労も決して不思議なことではなかったのかもしれません。ところが2年目となる今シーズンに入ってから彼の投球内容は劇的に変化していきました。1年目とはまるで違う投手だ、そう思わせるほどの変貌を解説者たちは驚きとともに語っています。ということで今回の動画では番組で語られた内容をもとに佐々木投手が覚醒した理由を変化球の進化、投球フォーム、球速の向上、癖の防止とメンタルの成長という3つのテーマに分けてご紹介していきます。ぜひ最後までお楽しみください。3つのテーマを詳しく見ていく前に、まずはピッチング忍者が語った変化の全体像からご紹介します。5月19日の放送で彼はこう語っています。
Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's top 5 filthiest pitches of the day.
Ninja, let's talk a little Roki Sasaki. There's been such an influx of great Japanese pitching recently that I think he's kind of been forgotten how good he was supposed to be when he came in. I remember you talking about him for years before he came over here. He threw a perfect game in MPB at the age of 20. His upside is higher than just about anyone ever. And he struggled a little bit in the pros, although he does have a World Series ring. But he's putting it all together. He did so yesterday. Ninja, what'd you see?
Yesterday was kind of amazing because, I've been saying the last few outings, like it looks like there was good things you can pull from it. There were like he was on a trajectory going up, but he hadn't really quite put it all together. And yesterday, I thought he did. And I want you guys to realize how hard this is because, like, as a pitching guy, this is amazing to watch this transformation because it is not easy. This is like changing tires on a race car while it's driving down the road and expecting it to still race in a race. It's crazy the amount of changes they've made to him while he's competing. They've changed his grip on his splitter, on his forkball, and made it a splitter. So now he's got two different variations of that. They've improved his slider. They've changed his mental game because, as I mentioned earlier in the year, he was just every time he'd have a bad outing, he'd say something about mechanics. He doesn't do that anymore. He's much more focused on competing. And he's changed his pitch mix too, and made some mechanical adjustments with his back leg. So he's done a lot of things, and this is a huge credit to the Dodgers coaching staff as well as the guys around him. Because I heard that he's now been listening more to them, but also Yamamoto and Shohei have been helping him along too. And when you have all of that, it's really cool to see a guy make those changes and turn things around. So kudos to the Dodgers and kudos to their coaching staff and kudos to Roki Sasaki.
このコメントの中で挙げられている変化は、球種のグリップ変更、スライダーの改良、メンタル面の成長、球種配分の見直し、後ろ足のメカニクス調整と実に多岐にわたります。ここからはこの中でも特に重要とされる3つのポイントをそれぞれ掘り下げていきます。佐々木投手の代名詞といえば以前から評価の高かったフォークボールです。 NPB 時代はマネーピッチと呼ばれるほどの武器で140キロ台という高い球速と優れた制球を武器に数々の三振を奪ってきました。ところが2025年にメジャーへ移籍した当初はこの球速が130キロ半ばまで落ち込み、ストレートとは明らかに違う軌道に見えてしまうようになっていました。 バッターからすれば、これは明らかに外れると早い段階で見切りをつけられてしまうため、見送られることが多かったのです。ここで重要なのが、佐々木投手はこの従来のフォークボールを捨てたわけではないという点です。番組で語られているのは、このフォークボールに加えて、球速の速い新しいスプリッターを新たに習得し、現在は状況に応じて両方を使い分けているということです。これによって、打者は落ちる球が来たと分かっても、それがどちらのタイプなのか判別できなくなったといいます。では、先ほどと同じ番組内で語られたピッチング忍者の分析をご覧ください。
Roki Sasaki picking up a White Castle special here. As you guys might know, White Castle special is a strikeout with 3 disgusting sliders. He had these wicked splitters, and now he throws a splitter and a forkball. It's kind of hard sometimes to tell a difference. I did this overlay of the forkball and splitter. The splitter tends to just look more like a fastball and go down. The forkball kind of flutters a little bit, almost like a knuckleball sometimes. It's very low spin rate. And then here's an overlay of his fastball and splitter. Shonowell said that he couldn't tell the difference between the two when they're on the same plane. And if you look at this, you can see why that pairing is so tough. He picked up 8 strikeouts in 7 innings, giving up 1 run, only 4 hits, and no walks yesterday. Throwing 76% strikes, which is huge. Codify said this was the highest strike percentage of any Dodger pitcher since Bobby Miller in like 2023. He was on his game yesterday, and hopefully this is the Roki we'll see in future starts.
そして約3週間後の6月7日、ピッチング忍者はこの進化についてさらに踏み込んだ解説を行っています。
Ninja, the artist formerly known as the monster of the Reiwa era, is now the monster of Chavez Ravine because Roki Sasaki has been eating batters alive. But this wasn't always the case in the majors. Ninja, what have you seen to make Roki the talk of Tinseltown lately?
So the one thing that I've seen, and Dave Roberts pointed out, is that Roki's faster splitter doesn't pop out of his hand like his old forkball did. I did this overlay of those two, and you can see how that forkball stays up while that splitter just dives. And the big important thing of this is the forkball was unhittable. People could not hit it when they swung at it. Thing is, they would lay off that pitch because it didn't look at all like his fastball. Now, with the faster splitter, it makes both his fastball better, also improves his slider because we're kind of dealing in the same speed range. And now you're having to guess which way pitches are going to move versus throwing in a slower pitch that hitters are going to either lay off of or wait till it drops out of the zone. So it's made a huge difference for him, and you can see it in his confidence. As Dave Roberts said yesterday, this is the Roki Sasaki we all expected.
This is the guy that we saw in video in Japan and that we hope to get. I think that we're all guilty of expecting it to be seamless and certainly unfair to Roki and not appreciating that there has to be some transition period. He's went through some tough times and some doubts, but he's gotten to the other side.
And when we say this is the Roki Sasaki we expected, I dug back in the archives, and here are a couple of polls, one from YouTube, about whether Paul Skeens or Roki Sasaki would be the better prospect. It was close or shading towards Sasaki. And y'all were right in advance because since May 1st, Roki Sasaki has been a statistically better pitcher than Paul Skeens.
投球分析のプロであるピッチング忍者だからこそ、この解説には説得力があります。スプリッターがストレートとほぼ同じ軌道で直前まで飛んでくることで、打者は見送るという選択肢を失う。これはただ球種が増えたという話ではなく、既存の球種すべての価値を底上げする、いわば連鎖的な進化でした。また、期待されていたプロスペクト評価が現実のものになったという振り返りからも、彼がいかに高いポテンシャルを秘めた投手だったかが伝わってきます。7月26日には、また別の登板を振り返る中で、スプリッターの支配力についてこう語られています。
For his splitters, look at this 3-splitter K right here. This is absolute domination. The first one misses by like 2 feet. Actually, we'll let Oral Hershiser and Joe Davis take you through this.
He was selling out to a fastball and didn't get it. He missed that thing by 1.5 feet. Oh, what the heck?
Here's an overlay of those three splitters, and you can see how unpredictable they are. Even if you guess right on splitter, you're kind of in trouble because, yes, one of them does appear to cut. And here's an overlay of Roki's 99-mile-an-hour heater and splitter. You can see how well he tunnels these. Pretty perfect. That splitter disappears. Big glove, new mechanics, new Roki. I love it.
そして8月1日の放送では佐々木投手のスプリッターがメジャーの投手陣の中でどう位置づけられるのかという興味深い比較も語られています。
Ninja, the Dodgers' enigmatic Japanese hurler, towed the slab yesterday, and he was throwing flat-out gross splitters. Ninja, I got a question. When Roki's on, does he have the best splitter in baseball, or who's he compare with?
I thought you were going to ask me what enigmatic meant, Will.
Well, I looked it up before to make sure it made sense, but it does.
He is an enigma, that Roki Sasaki, because you never know what you're going to get, as we discussed. But you got the good Roki Sasaki yesterday. And yes, his splitter is way up there. Like, I would say Yamamoto, just for command of his splitter, is on another plane. Gosman, for the years of dominating with his splitter, is way up there. But when Roki's on, his splitter is extremely good. And yep, it was on yesterday. On so much, he had Canzone walking to the dugout going, wow. Roki had it all going yesterday. He had 10 whiffs on his splitter. Here's an overlay of his 100-mile-an-hour fastball and 93.5-mile-an-hour splitter. That's nuts. He also had this great challenge here. He missed his spot, but he had a feeling. He sees the outline of the box in his head, challenges it, gets it correct, and then Russian gets credit for it.
Stolen valor.
Exactly. A little stolen valor here. Pitchers are only 36% on challenges this year, and that's because they think everything they throw is great. Roki had 7 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. And at number 1, Roki Sasaki. We already went over most of his outing, but I also love this sequence here where it goes forkball, splitter, and 100-mile-an-hour heater. And just throwing a forkball and a splitter, that's not fair. I mean, nobody does that. Those are 2 versions of basically the same pitch.
身近なチームメイトの技術だけでなく他球団の一流投手のスプリッターとも並べて語られるようになった。それ自体が佐々木投手のスプリッターがリーグ全体で一目置かれる存在になったことの証と言えるでしょう。変化球の進化と並行して語られているのが投球フォームそのものの改良です。佐々木投手は下半身の使い方を見直し軸足をしっかりと保ちながらより力強く体重を前へ移動させるフォームへと修正していきました。この結果、ストレートの球速は着実に上昇し、100マイルを超える速球を連発するようになりました。さらにもう一つ、番組で繰り返し取り上げられたのが、投球テンポの変化です。ピッチング忍者は5月31日の放送で、デーブ・ロバーツ監督から直接聞いたというエピソードを紹介しています。
Ninja, I'm in vacation mode over here at the Jersey Shore, but let's go out to LA to talk a little Sasaki, the pitcher in the majors with maybe the most potential left, the most meat on the bone to keep improving. And Ninja, he started off not so great in the majors, and now he's pretty awesome again. What are you seeing out of Sasaki?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's got to realize where he's come from and how he's gotten here and all the work that he's put in. Like, he looks like a legitimate good rotation piece now for the Dodgers on a team with a lot of really good pitchers. The transformation has been unbelievable in mechanics and mindset. And this is the beauty to me of what I do and what being a fan is all about. Like, it's really easy to be a fan of somebody when they're awesome every time out or when your team is always winning. But if you've been a fan when the guy's down and then watch a transformation or when a team's down and builds up, that's to me the payoff of being a fan. And right now, I've been a fan of Roki Sasaki since he was in Japan, and watching him starting to put it together like at the level where you thought he could, it's a payoff. This is great to watch.
Dave Roberts was talking to me about the pace that he's worked with. He thought he early on was working too slowly, and he said, I want you to go watch a Kevin Gosman start, Toronto Blue Jays pitcher that, like Sasaki, has a splitter. Said he's a splitter guy like you that works fast. And he said for any guy who has ball to strike stuff like a splitter guy does, it's important to work quickly. I asked David, so why would that be more important for those guys? And he said, I can tell you from the batter's box, when you have them in a hurry, Guys are going to feel jumpy, more likely they're going to chase. If we're sitting in there comfortable, you're taking your time throwing your pitches, chances are it's going to be easier for us to calmly lay off. So it just speeds the hitter up. And since Roki went and watched Gausman, he's worked at a much better pace.
テンポを上げることが単なる速く投げる以上の意味を持ち、打者の心理そのものを揺さぶる武器になる。これは日々選手を間近で見ている監督ならではの視点と言えるでしょう。MLB ではピッチクロックの導入以降、テンポの緩急そのものが重要な駆け引きの一部になっています。ゆっくり投げて打者をじらせる投手もいれば、逆に速いテンポで畳みかけて考える隙を与えない投手もいるのです。また、同じ放送では、この変化が実際の数字にも表れていたことが紹介されています。
Roki Sasaki, first fastballs, splitters, and sliders. He had 7 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run, but he had 8 swings and misses on his fastball. And you may remember everybody talking about how his fastball shape wasn't good. Well, his increase in velo by 1.5 miles an hour, I think helped his fastball shape too. Like his IVB was pretty solid and his fastball velo was really good. So excellent sign for those Roki Sasaki fans out there. He threw 67% strikes yesterday. And when he's doing that, things are going to work for him. So again, bravo, great stuff.
球速がわずか 1.5 マイル上がっただけで、ファストボールの軌道までもが改善された。この小さな変化がもたらした効果の大きさが番組でも強調されています。さらに7月19日の放送では、佐々木投手自身が語ったというメカニクスの変更点にも触れられています。
Roki Sasaki, I don't get Roki Sasaki, Will. I don't get him. Every time I think I've figured it out and he's figured it out, he doesn't pitch well. Every time I'm like, oh man, just forget it.
You really never know what you're getting when he comes out.
He's a box of freaking chocolates.
That's right. Should that be his new nickname? Is a box of chocolates, Sasaki?
I mean, it could be, but like yesterday was the caramel great one. Like, I don't know, whatever kind of chocolate you like, it was it. Because he was on fire yesterday with these 102 mile an hour heaters. Look at his slider, his splitter, disgusting stuff. He threw the most 100 mile an hour fastballs in one game for any Dodger since we've been measuring velo in our database in StatCast. That's counting Shohei Ohtani. He just was on fire yesterday. He had 5 Ks and 5 2/3 innings, giving up no earned runs. I tried to check out what he was doing with his mechanics differently yesterday. He said it was something with his lower half, a little bit firmer with his back leg. I know he tried to do that last year and it seemed like he got away from it. And also, I see when he gets this top of his leg lifts, he's a little more aggressive with his lower half going to home plate, but none of them are huge changes. So some of this must be feel. Anyway, sick stuff from Roki Sasaki.
チョコレートの箱という表現には、佐々木投手の好不調の波の大きさへの驚きが込められています。同時に大きな変化ではないという言葉も印象的です。派手な改造ではなく、以前から取り組んでいたはずの小さな修正を地道に体に染み込ませていく。ドジャース投手陣最多となる100マイル超えの本数はその積み重ねの結果と言えるでしょう。3つ目のテーマは少し意外に感じるかもしれません。佐々木投手の覚醒にはグラブの大きさが関係していたというのです。野球にはピッチチッピングという現象があります。これは投手がボールを握り替える際のわずかな手首やグラブの動き、あるいはセットポジションでのちょっとした癖から次に投げる球種が相手ベンチや打者に予測されてしまうことを指します。どれだけ球種の質そのものが良くても次に何が来るか分かってしまえば対応されやすくなる。プロの世界ではこの見えない情報漏れを消すことが実は技術そのものと同じくらい重要視されているのです。ピッチング忍者は7月26日の放送でこのユニークな変化についてこう解説しています。
Ninja Roki Sasaki went into Citi Field yesterday and shut down the Mets. I don't know if that's really saying much, but he did it anyway. 9 Ks. You know, we've talked about it a bunch of times, Ninja. He's up and down. He's hot and he's cold. He was hot yesterday, Ninja. Let's hear about it.
He was hot yesterday, and I don't know how much of this has to do with his big glove, but I don't know if it's mental or what, but it's definitely something to do with the big glove. Removing tipping. You might remember that famous Randy Johnson story that I usually post at least once a year, where he was tipping his pitches his whole career by holding his glove open wide and then narrowing it when he was throwing a slider. And that naturally happens with pitchers getting his grips. If you're gripping a fork ball or a splitter, your glove may be spread wider. Bigger glove arguably makes those movements less obvious, as well as he has his finger hoods covering his hand more. It goes down further. It is a giant glove. And it has something to do with it. Take a look at this glove here now and his glove before. Pretty major difference. But his stuff was disgusting yesterday. Big glove or not. His splitter. Gee whiz. Splitter / forkball. He was throwing both of them, I think, or StatCast was going back and forth between them. But yeah, 15 swings and misses on that. David Adler asked him what was up with his glove. Did he make his glove bigger? And Roki said, no, my face just got smaller. Dude's got all the jokes.
伝説的投手ランディ・ジョンソン氏の逸話を持ち出すあたり、長年ピッチングを分析してきたピッチング忍者だからこその視点です。フォークボールやスプリッターを握る際、グラブの中でどうしても手の動きが変わってしまう。それを大きなグラブで覆い隠すという、実にシンプルながら効果的な対策でした。個人的に興味深いのは、これがメカニクスの改造でもフィジカルのトレーニングでもない、いわば道具の工夫だったという点です。派手な技術革新ばかりに目が行きがちですが、こうした地味な調整が結果に直結するというのは、野球というスポーツの奥深さを感じさせるエピソードだと思います。ここまで外部から選手を分析してきたピッチング忍者の視点で3つのテーマをご紹介してきました。ここからは実際に佐々木投手とバッテリーを組んできた捕手、そして指揮官自身の言葉でこの変化を裏付けていきます。まずは今シーズン佐々木投手とバッテリーを組んできた捕手、ダルトン・ラッシング選手のコメントです。マウンド上で誰よりも近くから佐々木投手を見てきた人物だからこそ語れる言葉があります。
What has been different about Roki's last 3 starts?
I think it all goes back to just throwing strike one. You get strike one, and obviously everybody kind of knows how good a splitter is. Gives you a little bit of leeway as far as execution. You just throw it around the zone, you get a lot of swings, like we saw tonight. Yeah, I think if he continues to get strike one and obviously just has a good feel for the splitter, it allows him to go deeper in games, get more swing and miss, and like you said, he's looked really good as of late.
The swings and miss with the splitter have been way up.
Yeah, I think it's just strike one. It's easier to check off a splitter when you're 1-0, 2-0 in a count as a hitter. It's a little tougher when you're 0-1, 0-2, 1-2 pitcher leverage counts, and so yeah, I think the message to him is continue to get strike one and allow hitters to get themselves out after that.
What do you make of Roki's sort of like mental fortitude, like the ups and downs of being a young player?
Yeah, it's a tough league. This is a league you have to have confidence in, and if you don't have confidence, it's hard to be successful. And yeah, I think that's all it was. He lacked a little bit of confidence early on, and as soon as he had that runway to kind of allow himself to be himself, we've seen the best out of him.
Did you see kind of change in that 6th inning?
As far as
Sasaki?
No, I don't think there's any change. I think they picked up on the plan a little bit and they jumped on first pitch strikes. So in that world, like I just said, sometimes you got to flip the script a little bit. But yeah, as an offense, they did a good job kind of changing the game plan a little bit, and they jumped on 2 first pitch strikes and allowed them to score a run and obviously get another one in scoring position.
バッテリーを組む捕手ならではの視点として印象的なのが、ストライク1球目を取ることが全ての鍵という指摘です。1球目でストライクを取れれば、あの高速スプリッターへの警戒感から多少コースが甘くても許容され、逆に追い込まれてからだとその効果は薄れてしまう。これは捕手ならではの新しい視点と言えるでしょう。また自信を持って臨まなければ厳しいリーグ、自分らしくいられる余裕ができてから一番良い部分が出るようになったという言葉は、メンタル面の成長を誰よりも近くで支えてきた捕手自身が裏付けている非常に重みのあるコメントです。最後に 実際に佐々木投手を間近で指揮してきたデーブ・ロバーツ監督自身の言葉でこの変化を総括してもらいましょう。7月25日、好投を見せた試合の後、デーブ・ロバーツ監督は取材陣にこう語りました。
When you look at just with what Roki was able to do this evening, he talked about that obviously, and we saw that the velocity wasn't the triple digits, but the command, the splitter was still there and excellent. What does it just say to you how he now has just so much control placing the ball even when he doesn't necessarily have the triple digits?
Tonight was just a good exhibition of pitching. I thought, like you said, the command was really good. Left that ball, middle in to Robert for the homer. But outside of that, I thought innings 4 through 7, that split was really unhittable. It was really kind of just off the fastball as far as the plane, and was in really good command all night long. He was efficient, wasn't stressed, and it was good to see him get through that 7th inning.
He talked about just some of the mechanical changes he made going into that last outing at Yankee Stadium. He said a lot of it was his lower half. Just when you consider that now, seeing this outing, does it feel like he truly has kind of made a turn as to kind of where he really wants to be as a big league pitcher?
I think so. It's still, every time you go out there, you're still trying to build on, the previous one. And I do think that where he's at mechanically right now, he's not thinking about that when he's on the mound. He's in compete mode. His delivery is repeatable. And with that, it just doesn't seem like he's searching anymore. He's just, trying to execute a game plan.
デーブ・ロバーツ監督だからこそ語れる非常に重みのある言葉ですね。探し求めている感じがしない。以前の佐々木投手は不調のたびにその原因を探し続けていたと言われています。しかし今は再現性のあるフォームを手に入れたことで目の前の勝負そのものに集中できるようになった。技術的な進化とメンタル面の成長が同時に、そして分かちがたく起きていたことが伺えます。ピッチング忍者の分析と指揮官自身の言葉、両方が同じ結論にたどり着いているというのは、それだけこの変化が本物であることの証拠と言えるでしょう。さて、いかがでしたか？今回は佐々木朗希投手が覚醒した理由について、変化球の進化、投球フォーム、球速の向上、癖の防止とメンタルの成長という3つのテーマに沿って番組で語られたインタビューをご紹介しました。派手な改造ではなく地道な修正を重ねてきたからこそ今の投球がある。そのプロセスを間近で見てきた2人の言葉には佐々木投手への深い信頼が感じられました。 NPB 時代に令和の怪物と呼ばれ大きな期待とともにメジャーへ渡った佐々木投手、決して平坦ではなかった道のりを経て今ようやくその期待に応えつつある姿を見られることはファンにとって何よりの喜びではないでしょうか。最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございました。高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。